Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Deadline day. It's been an exciting one, hasn't it? For some teams. We're going to talk about the window as a whole, not just deadline day, but the window as a whole. Now it's closed. And then if we've got time, we'll talk about the Doncaster game on Saturday. But rest assured, we'll be doing everything we possibly can to make sure we don't have enough time to talk about it. We'll see what happens. We first of all have Kev back with us. How you doing, mate?
Not bad, thank you. Seems like a lifetime ago since I'm back on here, Matt. Oh, it's a few days.
Exactly. And Steve's back. How you doing, Steve?
Well, absolutely marvellous. I nearly fell asleep this afternoon. I was working, and all this money
Been
was
watching
being
other
spent.
podcasts?
Have
you been watching other podcasts?
No, I don't want to do that. The algorithms might kill me after that.
Yeah. There's been lots of money flying around the deadline day, not in South Yorkshire, but there's been some flying around. And Danny's done his best to find something yellow and put a sock on his head. There's no other way around
you give it away, you sod off. Although I do have something else yellow.
Don't.
Throughout the season, it is a yellow stress ball.
Okay. I wonder what we're coming up then, to be honest.
So throughout the entirety of today, this has been on standby in case we didn't sign anybody. You just see me doing that throughout the podcast.
Fair enough. Well, when we get the Donny game, you might need it.
Yeah.
Martin Hollands with us as his YouTube viewer, Sarah Ogden, Terry Femby, Kelly for Bobs. Sarah, this evening all. We can't seem to catch a break with his injuries. No, we can't. Andy Pieces, happy deadline day. I hope we're all well. Dave Lawton says, evening, any chance we can get a few lads back fit soon? Tom Swift, as is Chris and Richard and Elizabeth. There's loads of people with us tonight. Thank you all for being with us tonight on deadline day. It normally is. The difference is this year, Danny, because we normally have to stop until 11 o'clock or like 11:30, chatting absolute nonsense. Today, it's going to be a bit more relaxed, isn't it?
Yeah. What's the reasoning behind the 7 o'clock deadline this year?
Don't know. It's just I don't know, because Scotland is still 11, so it's just England that's different.
Oh. That's weird, but I suppose it's better for us. We get to bed a bit earlier, but at the same time, I suppose it's also good for our blood pressure because it's not quite as stressful when it gets to 11 o'clock and there's me, you, and whoever else just chatting absolute waffle. Like, are we actually going to sign anybody? Are we actually going to sign anybody? And then someone's gone on loan to National League at 11:30 or something.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's made some sort of difference. But now it feels weird to have all the business done, and now we're here ready to talk about what we've done over this window and the new signing. Legit squeaky bum time just before the window shut. So it's a nice change, but still feels a bit weird.
Yes, I agree. There's a little bit that's going to miss going through to 11 o'clock. But we're definitely not going to do it. So the business of the day is Thomas Holmes, not Tom Holmes apparently. It's Thomas Holmes, signed on loan from Luton Town. He has had mixed reviews, poor reviews from Luton. But I spoke to the Elm Park Royals, or the Reading podcast. I asked them, what do we think of Tom Holmes? So I'll run through what they have let us know. They said, I think the main thing I could say is he's not a huge game changer. If you're a struggling side, you won't turn into a good side by having Holmes, but you might concede less, as he's happy to throw himself in front of things. He adds effort to a side. If you already have effort and desire, you already struggle, he won't be a huge upgrade. I said we kind of need somebody to fill in Sean Braggett's shoes who's not made of glass. But
sounds like he'll fit in lovely.
He's got experience though, Kev. He's been there in the Championship. He was very popular at Reading, even though that wasn't the most glowing reference. He was very popular at Reading, and he's hopefully going to be fit, which is more than we can say about most of the other defenders.
Well, saying that, I mean, my cousin's a Reading fan, and I talked to him about it earlier, and he had similar views to that. Really, just a steady, solid defender. Not going to pull up any trees, not going to win many man of matches, not going to create many chances or goals, but he is a solid defender. My concern is his fitness. I know if he stays fit, but he's only played 4 games in a year and a half, is it? I think 2 on loan at some Belgium or Dutch club, I'm not sure. But and 2 or 3 for Luton. Is he going to be good? Is he going to be match ready? Is he going to be, what my concern is, given our horrific luck with injuries, he hasn't played for that long. He's probably going to come on, make his debut and go off again 6 minutes later. That's just a big worry for me.
Yeah, he has played twice this season, as you mentioned, once in the league, once in the cup. He did play a lot of games last season. Actually, played 10 to 18 games for Luton last year, and then went along for the second half of the season.
Right. Okay.
He hasn't played in the
We'll
calendar
see.
year very much, but he played last season.
Yeah, I think that's what we're looking at. But from what my cousin says, he's a solid defender and he'll fit in well. Like you say, we short on numbers. At minute, I'd have took anybody in the centre back, literally anybody. Me.
Yeah, and I think that's what we need steady away, Steve. Is we just need a defender. We needed a Sean Raggett type player, but who's just somebody who's fit, somebody who can win the headers, be available week on week, and stop the ball, stop the crosses, win the ball in the box where he possibly can be. And again, fitness depending, he does tick a lot of those boxes which we thought Raggett would have ticked.
Yeah, I agree. He's going to be a lump, isn't he? I mean, Woody just headed it and kicked it, didn't he? And we do need bodies. So we just need some luck with injuries. He needs to come in and not hurt himself in the first couple of games, which seems to be a trend at the minute. And I think that's down to the amount of football that he's not been able to move people around, has he? He's not been able to, I can't remember the word, but pull people out for, like the game tomorrow. I'd be interested to see what team he puts out tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for another body in the door. I was getting quite concerned about 6:15 that nothing had been done or agreed. So I'm glad to see him there. And of course, we've heard about him last couple of days. And why not? Big lad at the back. He's got a bit more experience than Lenny, for example. And we just need Lenny fit. But yeah, he'll do as long as he don't break down.
Yeah, I can see why. Nixon's played for 18 times or so last season. Tom Swift says, let's give him a chance. Can't be worse than how Raggett and Jules have done so far. We need someone who will command the box, win headers in the middle. Yeah, and we'll come on to the Donny game in a minute, Danny. But winning headers from crosses, that's what... There were a couple of other things that led up to the header in the box. But if we had a commanding centre-half on Saturday, or more than one, we wouldn't have considered that goal from a cross. Now, they might have scored another chance, but they wouldn't have scored that one. So again, it's ticking a box which we desperately need to tick at the minute.
Yeah, and I think that is why we've brought Holmes in. He's there to tick a box. I mean, Matt, I'm sure, didn't shy away from that on Radio Sheffield. He says he likes the player, but he is here to tick a box and to get us effectively more centre-half options. Like you said, with the Donny game and countless other goals so far this season, which sounds really bad to say because we've only just ticked into September, we are conceding far, far too many goals from inside the 6-yard box, whether it's a ball over the top or from a set piece. I don't have the exact figures, but it feels like a lot anyway. Yeah. And even with the commanding centre-half, like I say, we'll talk about it in a minute. I think it's more Reece James that's at fault for the Donny game rather than an actual centre-half. But if you have that commanding centre-half, it actually makes the players at the side of them feel more confident in their ability as well. And without that commanding centre-half that's fit, we don't have the confidence in the back line, and that's why we concede so much from silly chances that 8 out of 10 times we would have dealt with say, Woody in the back line, for example. But maybe with Holmes, he brings that in. I know Woody was having a word with Baptiste from Sheffield United. So that's two. The young, unproven one and the one with more championship experience than anything else. And he's just out of favour at Luton. So I'm not saying it's the nailed-on answer to the question that keeps popping up in our back line, but it's an offering where we shouldn't jump the gun and say, oh, he's not played that much, he's going to be crap, this, that and other, and start kicking off on social media like our fans love to do, apparently.
What do you mean? That's what we do, Danny. Come on.
Well,
let people kick off. Come on.
Yeah, well, okay, kick off a little bit. If you can't kick a ball in a straight line, fair enough. But just give it a few games to now bed in. We have got until January to bed this team in now and to get, like Matt Amshaw said on Radio Chef, a consistent team put out. And hopefully Holmes is part of that. And when a few other players come back, we can actually build a more solid looking back line that isn't injured every 3 weeks.
I mean, we've had 2 goals because Reece James has been isolated twice, hasn't he? Once at Cardiff and once at Doncaster. And it's unfair to ask a guy like him, who's a fullback, to play the left of a 3.
Yeah.
So when the ball comes over and you got this all right, the guy on Saturday wasn't a dirty, great big forward, but the Cardiff guy was. He's not going to win it, really. He just can't get off the ground. And if this guy can jump, put himself in the way, then we don't concede them goals.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. It's a better option, even though I've never seen him. So,
yeah. And also, what I would say is we can kind of ease him in. We're not playing Saturday, Tuesday at all, other than this week with the Papa John's or Virtual Trophy. So we've got a million games in the next month, Kev, and I think that's going to be important to kind of ease Holmes in. But also, I'm just talking weeks instead of months for Lenny. So hopefully by the end of the month we'll have Lenny back as well, and then your defense is looking so much more stronger. So it feels like a good time to have this. You're going to have these injuries now rather than in March when you're playing Saturday, Tuesday for 4 weeks. So this feels like a better time for it to happen, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's always. Yeah, I mean, can he play tomorrow? I'm not even sure. Can he or not?
I assume so, but I don't know. Maybe not actually.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, personally, even if he can, I don't think I would. I don't think I would play him. I mean, I said it again about the Barnsley game. For me, yeah, cup games are great, but this tomorrow is just meaningless. And we're probably it is pointless cup. So don't risk it. That will be just our look, like I said earlier. He'll play tomorrow night and pull up after a few minutes. So no, I'd rest it. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens when Lenny does come back, because it's going to be nice for me to actually have some choices rather than literally just playing whoever walks through the door that day, because that's how it's been for him. And I don't know when Lenny's back. I'm thinking, I don't know what you guys think, but I'm thinking when Lenny's back with the guys we've got there, who will be his first 2? I'm not sure. I suppose it depends how Holmes does when he comes in. I've got a good feeling about him. As much as I'm a bit concerned about his level of game time, he's played at a good level. I think when at Reading, I think they were Championship. I'm not sure. They were definitely doing well in League One. So he's played at a good level. So exciting to see. And I would like to see how he fits in. Hopefully he hits the ground running. And Matty's got some choices for once.
Yeah, that makes a change. Andy asked, was Dan Scar just a load of rubbish made up on Twitter? Entirely possible. I don't know. We don't know that one. But we
maybe Holmes. Maybe he got wind of Holmes being available and thought, let's have a choice. Tony's having a fun one. Which one would I rather have? Who knows?
Yeah. We'll go through some comments on here. Nick Newsom says, not too surprised, only one deadline down signing the activity on X, etc. about sacking Hamshort. Pulling the trigger would have put players off after 5 games. These fans are irresponsible and irrational. We have Football Mad with the alternative view. It says the problem is it's looking worse than it did with Evans. And look at fans. And to be fair, this podcast then as well, if Evans was still in charge, we would be asking for his head. We didn't.
Yeah, probably.
No, we didn't.
Not this time. But anyway,
we didn't do that until about November.
You've got to give it time, haven't you?
Yeah.
Sorry, Danny.
I think I've said before, Matt. For me, like I did slate Evans. I really did have confidence. But Evans is, he's a 60-year-old. He's been in management 20 odd years. He's done his time. He's had massive success for us, and we'll always appreciate that. But it were a disaster last year. Matt Hamshaw's, like Stephen said, he's 5 games into his reign this season, 15 in total, whatever it is. It's in these time, he's got to have time and a window or two to actually build his own team.
I completely agree. Tom K says, a question for you all. How many players did we actually think we needed, Steve? I'll start with you on this one. Obviously, we got one on deadline day, but obviously Baptiste seems to have been forgotten from Friday, whenever it was. So we've got 2 centre-halves in, which is kind of what we needed. How many more do you think if you were given a blank check, how many more would you have brought in today?
I'd have tried for another striker. I think we needed somebody who was nippy and quick in the box. I'd have liked to sign Mark Robbins about 20 years later. Yeah, I know that's asking quite a lot, but that sort of player I would have liked. I mean, I know Nombe's a bit similar in some respects. Not as good, of course, but yeah, I'd have had another striker, and possibly I would have bought another centre-back in. But, you know, we've signed a lot of players. And it's unfortunate that quite a few of them, well, several of them have got injured alongside some of the old stalwarts like Raggett, who'll probably never play for us again. that's probably tongue in cheek, but you know. But what's his name, Benson? I mean, I'm eager to see him, and Kian, what's his face, who played against Sheffield United first half. I was well impressed with him, and he's the guy who could be the key in midfield because he rats a lot, but we've not seen them. But you know, if I had a blank checkbook, I'd have got another striker in and another big defender at the back, and maybe a full back.
Yeah, I think I would have gone striker, Danny. But it's one of those things that if let's say Tony Stewart decided, okay, Matt, I'm sure is £1 million for a striker. In 2 months' time, Sam Nombe is back, and we're still paying for Sam Nombe's wages and everything else that comes along with Sam Nombe. And Sam Nombe is still going to want to play in October when he comes in. So it's not only a balance act for the finances; it's a balancing act in 2 months' time when Sam Nombe is fit. That you've got to fit somebody else with them along as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in an ideal way, we would have got another striker in to be Sam Nombe's cover, because we effectively got the interchangeable Itete and Hugel, even though they can't actually play next to each other, and did quite all right against Doncaster when they were lined up against alongside each other. But we need. In an ideal way, we would have needed cover for Nombe, like that proper number 10 role, that second striker role, which Nombe fills very, very well. But again, like you say, he's not out. It's not like he's out for the season. We don't need it terribly desperately because he will be back soon. And I can see where Hamshaw's come from with the moves that he's made. Like, we definitely need centre-backs because we have a lot out injured. Midfield's okay, up top's okay. It's not too long till Nombe's back. Maybe we could have had more defensively orientated wide players because certain players who play as wing backs don't perform as the backs; they're more of the wingers. So that would have been an ideal thing. So for me, maybe another centre half and more backs than wingers with the wing back in mind, a bit like a Shane Ferguson sort of character who was better defensively than pushing forward, but he could still do that, and was able to overlap if we played, say, Matic in behind him as well. But then I'm dreaming with that. We would have had to have shipped out probably another 5 players off the wage bill to get even close to that, which we might have tried for, we might not have. I'm sure Matt had just gone, right, if we get this guy, then we don't need to try for anything else. Maybe got the green light from Stewart that he didn't have to shuffle the pack to pay a certain percentage of Holmes's wages. We don't know. We probably will never know unless Hamshaw has a telling all interview with us or the club or whoever. But looking at the signings that we've made this season, I'm just going to steal your hosting role for a second, Matt.
Okay.
Are we happy with the signings that we've made, excusing the injuries side of it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. I think I said that before we come on air, didn't I? He's just been very unlucky. All the players, like we mentioned there, Spence and all them who showed real promise and thought these are going to be big players. They're out injured. There's no Matt Hamshaw can do. And it's not because I like Matt Hamshaw or anything. I want him to do well, and I think most Rotherham fans do. And you know, I think as genuine fans, we do want him to actually be given time to survive. But he has been really, really, really unfortunate with injuries. And like Danny just said, most of them players we signed, we were all very happy. Young, exciting players on 3-year contracts. What more do we want?
Yeah.
When you look at the talent in some of their feet, I mean, Martha is a phenomenal player for this level. I mean, he probably lacks in phicality, but by God, some of the control he's got.
It's frustrating.
I mean, I think we've got
to watch.
What's happening, I think, at the moment is a lot of our fans are comparing to Warney, comparing to how Warney was treated, comparing to how we and the club treated what's his face, Evans. We've just got to try not to do that. We've got to look at this as a new start for everybody at the club, because let's face it, it's been real cobblers for the last 2.5 years. It's been really bad. In fact, going on for 3 years.
Yeah.
So we just need to try and look at the positives. And there are negatives, but let's try and look at the positives for a change. And I can't believe I'm saying that because I'm very grumpy, usually.
Yeah. I think the comparing doesn't help anybody. Comparing to Evans, comparing to Matt Taylor, comparing to anybody. I think occasionally, if you want to make a point, you can do it. But when you're just comparing a blanket comparison to this time next year. What's the point? Who gains from that? It's just stupid.
Nobody.
So yeah, that's what we're trying to do, and that was one of my pre-season resolutions to do that less. But just on who you bring in, Kev, Scott Kent mentions a list of it. I think left backs, now I think about it, is an interesting one because you got Reece James, who can play left wing back, but he's not brilliant, and Martha, who is brilliant attacking but not very good defensively. You've got one extreme to the other, really, in those two. I would have liked maybe kind of a middle ground. Shane Ferguson, I mentioned, is a good example.
Someone like it was solid, weren't he, Shane Ferguson? Didn't do anything. I mean, it was probably the footballer who least looked like a footballer in the world. I've never you looked at him and he just didn't like a footballer. But he was brilliant. It was solid. He never put a foot wrong for me. But yeah, we missed one like that. But I don't know. I do like James. I do like him. I think Martha will be wasted there. We saw against Donny. He's brilliant, like Steve just said. He's absolutely his feet. He's got brilliant feet. He's got some great skill, but he gives the ball away. Tries little tricks in funny places. We nearly got caught early against Donny. Did a silly tried little shuffle and lost it, and they could have conceded from it. I think at that role, I think it'd be a bit of a disaster. And I think it needs to be played out wide. It is an attacking left midfielder or attacker for me. Is not that. But I like Reece James. I think he's solid. It's probably I want to change that. But I think that going back to who we need, probably another centre back. I'm not sure about a keeper. I really do like Cam Dawson. I know he comes in for a bit of stick, but I don't mind him. I think the goal of that position is easily criticised. The first one everyone can pick up on. And I think a lot of the problems we're going to have is we've been absolutely spot rotten by Victor Johansson. We're used to seeing just an absolute solid rock in the middle of the net, and we've not got there anymore. But Cam Dawson's a great goalie. And what Steve says, a striker, we desperately need that. That's what we're missing against Donny Rovers. Said it earlier. If we'd have had Sam Nombe on that pitch on Saturday afternoon, we'd have beat Donny Rovers. Simple as that. So I'd have got someone else in, because that's where I can see us coming up short. I'm not sure who can. I do like Atete. I'm not sure he's like an out-and-out goal scorer. He's got brilliant feet for a big man, but we need a fox in the box who can put him back in net.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And talking about Johansson, we laud him quite rightly, but he made a mistake on Saturday, which cost his team the game. So
one in 4 years. 1 in 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. But nobody's totally perfect.
No.
Just
did you see the save that he pulled off against Wednesday?
Oh, God, yeah.
Well, I mean, he did a couple for us, if you remember. There were a couple of instances where he went to punch it out. Ipswich game, I think. I'm not sure. He made a couple of mistakes in consecutive games, but because he already at hero status, we let it slide.
Yeah, so
now they were probably bigger mistakes than Cam Dawson's made in the last 2 years. So, but because he's not a hero, he's getting a bit of criticism, which I think is a bit unfair.
I hate to admit it, but I reckon there's a bit of unconscious bias because he played for Wednesday and he got promoted with them. So we're expecting that level of Cam Dawson, which we are going to achieve because Wednesday had a much better back line at the time.
Although he got a lot of stick at Wednesday from Wednesday fans. Wednesday fans weren't massive fans of him either. He seems like one of those keepers that some fans just don't take to. Although Exeter fans adore him because they're part of the promotion team. But maybe he's just one of those. You get those characters, don't you, where some people just don't take to him. What mistakes he made, really? He don't command his box very well, but it's not cost us in any way, I don't think.
He's a lot better than Flying Kipper that we had last year.
Yeah. But he's not had a solid defence, a regular defence in front of him to like, you know.
Yeah, Robert Dick says absolute garbage. He's bang average keeper with cardboard. I think bang average. He's an average keeper. That's it. He's just average. He's not a good keeper. He's not a brilliant keeper. I think he's an average goalkeeper, and that's fine. Sadly, sometimes you've got to accept an average keeper. O'Donnell. Wednesday didn't rate him at all. No, I know some Wednesday fans that didn't rate him at all. But anyway,
I think we'll see a change tomorrow. Cam's got to start tomorrow night. If he's going to give him a chance, it's got to be tomorrow night.
Yeah, completely agree. Any other transfer nonsense we want to talk about before we have to talk about the Donny game?
I had a couple of texts off mates, really disappointed we've not signed Ogbene and Barlasser. Honestly, they're disappointed. We've got to show ambition. What?
Well, they're on. What are they on? 20, 30 grand a week now.
God, man.
I mean,
far too good for lower league. They're far too good for lower league one. I know that.
Yeah, I did see that. Why don't we ask Ipswich about Ogbene? Well, that's Kingsley. It's just not going to happen, is it?
Can we have Benny? Can you pay all his wages?
Well, yeah, I did laugh at them when I saw those. I saw someone Twitter about it. It was good. Yeah. I enjoyed it. Give me a tickle. Right, on to the Donny game. Our instant reaction, Steve, I don't know if you watched it, got a little bit of stick on Saturday because me and Mick were relatively positive. I stand by it. I don't think it was that bad a performance. I'm frustrated. I think the fact is that a local derby clouds people's judgments. I don't think we did enough to win the game, but I think if it would have been a draw, I think that would have been a fair result. And other than that spell when they scored, it was a level game, basically, I thought.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, it wasn't that great a game, all told. I don't think they were very good, and I don't think we were that good. But I thought we were better than them in a lot of periods of play. You know, we used the ball quite well. Decision making, like we were talking about Martha, that sort of thing frustrates me. Not just him, but along the front line. You know, we make some good bits of play, and then it's time to make the correct decision, and we end up giving it away or just wasting the ball. And if we could get a bit more attacking wise and make the right decisions, then you never know. We might score a goal away from home, which would make a change because we haven't done that for quite a while.
No.
Well, not this season at all. But I thought the performance wasn't bad. I thought the first 10 or 15, I agree with the manager, we were really pretty good. And then out the blue, I mean, this annoys me so much is that in a lot of games I've seen over the last 18 months, 2 years, we started okay, and then the opposition's first attack goes in the net, and it's almost like, oh, we're one down. Well, we're a bit buggered then, aren't we? Yeah. Whether it's subconscious or not, but it's like, well, what we're going to do now because we can't score a goal. And then second half, we had a lot of possession and a lot of pressure. And I thought with a bit more of a cutting edge, we would have got a point, if not more. And I agree with Kev. If Nombe was playing, we'd have won that game.
Yeah. It also doesn't help, Danny, also, to come on. We'll come on to the specific minute, but I think Sheriff going off at half-time, and I don't think Sheriff had a particularly good game, but he's your threat. He is your only goal threat really you have at the minute. And I think as the game wore, as we saw against Wigan, he got better as the game went on. He got more chances as the game came on. The fact he came on at half-time and we were playing with Etete and basically Martha as striker, it completely stupid, as I thought.
Yeah, no, I agree. But we had to move Martha off that left-hand side because he was... Especially after the opening 50 minutes, he was basically ineffective in that position. And I thought moving him more central helped him out more. And then when Coletta came on later in the game, he absolutely killed Doncaster down that side. But it was weird because in the first half, like I'm sure said, the opening 15 minutes, we were the better team. And I spoke to a lot of Donny fans in town afterwards, because I went out afterwards, rather stupidly still in this Rotherham top, and copped a fair bit of abuse for it. But they were telling me in the opening 15 minutes, they were not scared, but very, very worried that they were going to concede first. And then they scored. And then the latter parts of the first half, the game was so flat and dull. The stadium was basically silent. And I think it was a mix of Rotherham fans going, we've conceded, what do we do? And it's Donny fans going, we've scored, what do we do? And it was it just cancelled each other out. And then second half, we were effectively exchanging punches very evenly. I think Donny had the more clear-cut chance because I think they hit the post 3 or 4 times.
When we were pushing, yeah.
Yeah, and then we went close to scoring a few times. Their keeper had an absolute mare at times coming for the ball, but he commanded his 6-yard box, even though he was like Dylan Phillips flying kipper. And Donny's gamesmanship was a lot better than ours was. And I think that's what edged the game out. But then they've got a manager that they've had for the previous 3 years. They're still on the up from promotion. They are a more well-oiled machine than we are with our first-time manager. 11 new signings, and still finding a feet in this division. So that's why it felt like such a drab derby. But a lot of people have lost their heads because we lost the derby. And I think that's where all the overreactions come from. As a whole, it were a very poor game of football.
Yeah.
It was entertaining because of how poor it was. That's like a weird cancelling out. It was a very average League One game that was made better because it was a local derby. And I think
if that's Rotherham Exeter,
if that's Rotherham Exeter,
aren't we?
if that's Rotherham Exeter, oh Lord, no, we're getting absolute pelters. But with it being Rotherham Doncaster, everyone sort of just went, yeah, it were all right. And a lot of Donny fans asked me about Nombe, asking where he was. As soon as I said he's injured, all of them sort of went, well, that's a relief. Because like you say, if Nombe was on the pitch, Kev, he would have scored
100%.
1 or 2 at least. So it's just a drab derby. It's one of those derbies where Donny will remember it because they've won. We should forget it because I hate to quote my Amshaw and I'll get stick for this, but it's a transition. It's a transition derby. It wasn't like it was when we lost to Barnsley last season. That was just awful. Or when we lost to Sheff Wednesday under Matt Taylor, that was probably even worse. For this, it's just all right. But just before we move on, I'll tell you about whilst we were in Temple. So one of the bar staff was a Donny fan, and he seen me in my Rotherham shirt, and he gave it to his colleague, this note, and he gave it to me, and it just said 1-0 on it, right? As a bit of a, fair play. So I then said, have you got a pen that I can use? So then I wrote at the top, over the last 4 games, crossed out the 0 and put 13.
13.
And then gave it him back and walked off with me Guinness. I was very proud of that.
That's very good. I like that, Danny. Very good. We have a few comments. Nick says, I thought it was okay. Not sure why everyone's been so negative. The stats back up that the same amount of shots we had, more corners, we had more touches in their box, and we were the away team. Mike and Miller, 2 dull teams in a dreary derby. Tonke has a lack of energy irritated him. Other than that, it was okay. This lack of energy, Kev, I didn't really see the lack of energy. I think it was at times misdirected, maybe. But I thought we were aggressive, and I thought we were trying. But it was just a quality, wasn't it? It was only a quality thing for me, I thought, on Saturday.
Yeah, no, I agree. In that first 15, 20 minutes, I thought, wow, we went out like steam train. We were passing the ball about, we were controlling, we looked dangerous. Like you said, we lacked that cutting edge. And then when that goal went in, that was the frustrating thing. That you've all summed it up right. It's almost like we're losing now. And the frustrating thing about that goal was, I felt for Hall. We were all 3,000 fans behind the net were screaming, "Get out to the winger, block it!" And Hall's on his own. We all knew what was going to happen to someone, and that's nobody's fault. That's probably just. It's not bad management, but I suppose they've got to practice on. He was let down by his fellow defenders in my eyes for that goal. And then, the first half petted out a bit. There weren't much happening. But I always thought, not many times I'd go in at half time thinking, we'll probably still win this game. I really did generally think we would win this game still. We came out second half, and I thought second half we were the better team. I'm not saying we were a good team, but Donny were very poor. They were there for the taking. Yeah, all right, we've lost to a poor Donny team. But, the endeavour were there, and I did think we showed a bit more going forward, a few more tackles flying in. I think the referee, I got to mention the referee, I thought he let the game go from first minute. He didn't control that game at all. He was letting, like Danny mentioned, gamesmanship. I mean, Jordan Hugo goes down a lot, but Billy Sharp goes down more than a hooker in Amsterdam. I've never seen like it. It was ridiculous. And everyone knew it. The Rotherham fans were laughing at one point because as soon as Billy Sharp got the ball, he just flattened the sent on the back, and the referee couldn't wait to give a free kick. And frustrating. I mean, if you played for us, I'd probably love it, but they don't. So I hated it.
I mean, Kev, you were only a few rows back from me, Kev. Did you see how irritated I was getting at that referee? I was the same colour as this flag behind me. I was that irritated because he just fell for it every single time. Linesman worked much better either.
No,
it's just
I can't afford to get that irritated.
But just simple things like that. Referee didn't control the game. For a local derby, you need someone strong in that middle, and he weren't until a week. He let so many. It was bad for both teams. Not just saying that he missed a few. He gave a couple of free kicks against us, and I'm thinking, what? How was that even a free kick? It was terrible. No, I'm going to get slaved saying this, but I can still see improvement. I walked away. I was despondent because we'd lost a game of football in a local derby, which is horrific. Don't get me wrong, but when we get players back, I'm still very confident we're going to turn a corner and see a totally different team.
You can see pockets of it, can't you, Kev? You can see little sections. You can see some players You can see little routines that they're doing and little movements. But one day it'll all come together and somebody's going to get a right cuffing, in my view. When we've got, maybe when we've got a couple more players back, when Nombe's back, when we've got maybe Spence in midfield and so on and so forth. But somebody will cop it because we have got some talent. He's got some young talent and it will come through. I'm trying to convince myself, but I see what I see, and I am more confident, damn sight more confident than I was this time last year. When we were all hoping that it was going to come right. I'm kind of half expecting it to come right now when we get rid of all these horrible injuries that we've got. I mean, it weren't a memorable game, as I was just about to say. Usually I've forgotten about it by Monday, but because you postponed this, I've had to keep my memory together so that I can remember what happened. Otherwise, I'd have forgotten about it by this time yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I said earlier about not comparing things, but if you look at the 2 times we went there under Warney before the 5-0, we drew 1-1 with Kiefer Moore. If everyone remembers that game, we were dreadful in that game. We were awful. We were worse than we were Saturday, much worse. And we also, the year after, or 2 years after, we lost 1-0. John Taylor scored, where we were rubbish as well. Both similar times of the year, still August, September time. And then obviously both those seasons we got promoted. So everybody needs to chill out a little bit. I know some people won't, but you do. Nick says Hall was left out to dry, and I felt for him. He looked around to say, "Where are you?" He's got left 2v1, easy cross on the goal. On the goal, Steve, we always say, where should it have been? But there's about 3 different points in this one, and I feel sorry for Denzel Hall. I have a degree of sympathy for Reece James because Reece James is not that kind of defender in the centre half position, and the cross from our left should have been stopped. Cross my right's got to be stopped, and then once it's in box, it's a bit of a lottery, really. But there's so many stopping points for that first for their goal. Yeah,
I don't think the clearance was very good either. And as you say, Mr. Hall found himself basically isolated with their guy who had a mate to help him out. It's a bit like when Powell gets down when we're attacking and he's got Reece James. We had no protection. The cross was going to come over, so I was hoping that it was going to be a bad cross, but it wasn't. It was a decent cross. And as we mentioned earlier on, Reece James, unfortunately, just ain't that good in the air when it's to a ball that's coming into the box when he's supposed to be a centre-back, when he's a full-back. So it was a bit disturbing, the fact that it went in, because it came out of nothing again. There's nothing happening. And all of a sudden, they've got a decent crossing, and we're 1 down again. And it just felt like, where was it? Stockport at the end of last season, Stevenage particularly, there was nothing in that game, and we conceded a very similar goal then. So it has got to be cut out. This, I think, we're just not very good at that piece of defending that is required to prevent that becoming a goal. Because we're not under huge amounts of pressure a lot of the time, are we? Maybe at Cardiff we were, but even then it wasn't that much.
No, and Donny's chances, a lot of Donny's chances on Saturday came in the second half when we were kind of pushing on a little bit, when they found a little bit of space, which was always going to, you can accept those chances. We'll go touch on this now because a few people mentioned in the comments, Danny, about Powell and Powell's free kicks and corners. I'm a big Joe Powell fan, and he was one of the few bright sparks last season. He was really, really good for most of last season. But Saturday was just bad. It was the only one I think that was actually very bad. He just didn't do any of his job properly. We had six corners we had on Saturday. I don't think any of them, one might have beaten the first man, and that one had beat everybody else and went out on the other side of the pitch. It was just an example. It was a bit of a flashback to his set piece from last season. I thought he'd improved, but it was a flashback to some of his set piece last season. And you've got to make chances from those.
No, I agree. I do like Joe Powell as an outfield player, but Lord above, get him off set pieces sooner rather than later. I mean, at the Donny game, I was there with my mate George, who's, don't tell anybody, but a Sheffield Wednesday fan. But he came to enjoy the football because of the whole
he didn't know, did he?
Boycott.
He'd have been bored.
No,
how did that go?
No.
How did that turn out?
In all honesty, he actually enjoyed the game. In all honesty, but he said to me, "You need to change who's taking set pieces because he's not good." Yeah. Same with Emily and Scarlett were there, first time appearances at a football match, and they went, can you change your free kick take? It's not very good, him, and it's like, yeah, after like 3 or 4, it's like, can we give someone else a go? Because I don't remember him taking a corner that beat the first man, or that wasn't played short to someone on the edge of the 18-yard box, but like the edge of the corner side of the 18-yard box. It was sort of crying out for a nice lofty corner into the mixer for someone to either get the red onto or for it to be spilled and someone tap it home. That was the sort of goal we had to score to effectively get the game by the scruff of the neck and drag it into our favour. But he didn't offer that solution, if you like, in terms of set pieces. So, and same with the free kick that I've got the comment from Nick. He had a free kick about 20-25 yards out and crossed it, and he should have had a shot. And not necessarily a shot, but a much better delivered free kick. I think it was a bit too central to shoot, but it should have been a lot better. Is he lacking confidence? Maybe, but at the same time, when players are like that and it's not being affected to the team, it's like, just give it somebody else so he can get his mind right and get back on the horse and take him properly. But yeah, he should have not taken his last 2 set pieces. It should have gone to at least somebody else. Maybe Dan Gore, like they've mentioned in the comments as well. But yeah, I like him as an outfield player. Just at the minute, keep him away from set pieces, please.
A few ones. I mean, right together. I think there must be another person that doesn't rate him, don't see what he does. But Dave Lawton says, I thought Powell was poor at the start of last season, but eventually won me over. But he's dropped off. That said, he can't question his effort. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with all that, Kev. But 6 corners and there were a lot of free kicks in really dangerous areas. To be fair, Donny's set piece were as bad as ours. But if you, especially away from home, if you're given an opportunity around the 18-yard box, you've got to make it count. You've got to make their defence think about it. And I bet their defenders could not believe their luck with all our set pieces on Saturday.
No, there were. I think the first 10 minute period, we must have had 4 or 5 dangerous free kicks and 3 or 4 corners. And like you say, it was just so frustrating watching every single one just fritter out to nothing or hit the first man and get. And but as a player, I do actually rate him. I do like him. I miss his corner kicks when he had someone stand at side and rolled it forward, put the foot in it, and then he crossed it in. Generally from the other side, the right hand side, an outswinger. They're brilliant, but for some reason, left to left, it just doesn't work. I think it's time. Amy should, time for him to be, as a manager, make the change and pull him off set pieces. I think if Kelly's on pitch, he'd probably take him.
Dan Gore.
Well, Dan Gore, yeah, Dan Gore or Martha, because they're not going to win a header. They're not going to win a header in box, so you may as well stick them out wide and taking it in. But I like him as a player. I do think he's a good player. I think if Ronnie Moore were to describe me, probably say 1 week he can play for a dog and duck, next week Real Madrid, and that's what he's like. He's very hit and miss, and it's a shame because I do really like him, and he's a great player. And last year, you don't get the most assists in League One for nothing. Yeah. He did something right.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree. I don't know what something's going to have to change. I don't know what it is, but the set pieces should be an area we should be looking to exploit. And we did exploit, Steve. To be fair to Hampshire and whatever else, those 8 games at the end of last season, we were looked to threat under set piece. I don't know how we scored, but I thought every time we looked to threat, and it was Joe Powell taking them every single time. So I don't know what's kind of gone backwards from that time, because as soon as Hampshire came in, there was a significant improvement in the Northampton game. We scored 1 or 2 from set pieces straight away. So it's interesting that we've kind of gone backwards on that side of things.
And he also, that crossed my mind about 2 minutes ago when Kev was talking. But didn't he put the ball across? Didn't he take the corner against Port Vale that was nodded back?
But I think he must have done.
Was he? Yeah, he must have done. And that was a planned routine. But you're not going to do that if you can't get it past the first man. And that is one of the most irritating things, is when you don't get past the first man, and the first man is two of their defenders. If you've got a guy there who's going to flick it on, then fair enough. But he just doesn't give it enough height, and the connection's just not good. Why it's gone backwards since the end of last season and early this season, I honestly don't know. As you say, confidence maybe. I really don't know. I don't know whether he practices them enough. or what, but I agree with all of you. I think something's got to change because we're wasting field position, we're wasting corners, and we're not exactly carving teams open, are we? So we need to make the most of all the set pieces we've got. Frankly.
Yeah, I agree. We'll hope to see some improvement going forward. Time will tell. Let's pick on another positive though, Danny. Marvin Coletta at times has looked well. He's looked at those better signs of the season. I thought first against Wigan, he was fantastic, and that was the exact same Coletta we saw on Saturday. Was in the second half when he played. He caused them so many more problems than Martha was able to, because he's just got that physicality where if he can't beat man for skill, it's found basically run through him. He's just got so much to his game, Coletta, and I definitely want to see more of him going forward.
Oh, absolutely. When he came on in the second half, he tore Donny apart down that side. They did not know how to deal with him. And I think that's why the second half, we sort of dragged it to being more even. I mean, I think in terms of getting the ball forwards in non-counter-attacking senses, we were the better team anyway. I think Donny's chances came from after we gave up position, which we did a frightening amount. But when Coletta drove forwards, 9 out of 10 times he got to the 18-yard box and created something. I felt sorry for Donny's right back at the end of the game because he had to deal with that in the second half. And I think they changed it as well because they brought a JE on, didn't they, to try and deal with it. And even then, he got past him a few times. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Coletta much, much more. Maybe a starting berth, potentially, because he was just so good. You know, like Tom Swift just put in the comments, when Coletta is fully up to speed, he could be similar to Ogbeni. Absolutely. Absolutely. He's got the pace. He's got the physicality. I think when the team's gelling a lot more, he'll be an absolutely unreal and dangerous threat.
Yeah, I remember Martha. We'll talk about exit game on Thursday's show, but remember Martha's missing for Saturday because he's on international duty, so we may well see Coletta playing in that position. But to add caution to that, Kev, is that against Barnsley, when he did start, he was completely anonymous for most of the game. So he's one of those players, a bit like Martha, a bit like us, going to be really patient with him. He's going to have great games, but he's also going to be anonymous for some games, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's gonna. I think he just needs to get used to English football. It's a different game to where we were playing before. Holland, was it? In Holland. Yeah. It's a totally different game. He's probably had a lot more time on his hands in Holland, but he's exciting. He's that one player who's got that little bit extra. You can know he has. Like I said earlier, very frustrating. He got caught a couple of times. He did against Barnsley a few times. He got made a bit of a mug against them, but. It just excites when he gets the ball. And you just know he's going to do it. I mean, I'd rather him do a little trick and probably lose it. Maybe pick his area. Don't do it in his own box or in his own half like he did against Doncaster. Do it on 18-yard box or something. But just I mentioned Sheriff. Obviously, you're talking about him earlier. Come off. I felt sorry for him at weekend. He's definitely a young lad who needs game time. He's more of a. I think to start, he shouldn't be starting. He should be on the bench coming off. But I think Amshar had no. Due to the performance against Barnsley, I think he had no options left other than to pull Jordan Ugle off the pitch and put Sheriff on. It didn't work. It did look a bit out of season. I think maybe the local derby, the intensity, the big crowd. I don't know. Could have upset me, but I like him. I think he needs more time. But for me to start with for the next at least 2 or 3 games, he needs to be more of an impact sub coming on. But if Matty's got no one else to play, then what can he do? That's how the squad is.
Did he say that he'd taken him off because he had a tight hamstring?
Tight hamstring, yeah.
So again,
he's not going to say I took him off because we're having a shit. Let's be right. He's not, is he?
Well, he's not. No, but if he has got a tight hamstring, the point I mean is that he had to chuck him straight into the Wigan game, didn't he? Straight. So under 20 football.
Yeah. To
the intensity of league football, and he played that game. He played most of the Barnsley game, didn't he? And
most of the second half.
But he's played a lot of man's football at quite an intense pace. And I just hope he's not going to break down as well, because he is only 19. I mean, he looks a massive unit, but he's still not fully grown. So we've just got to be a bit careful. I kind of agree with Kev that needs must, but he definitely shouldn't play tomorrow.
No
and
way.
I'd put him on the bench on Saturday.
No. Yeah,
but you know we're a bit short, aren't we? So Hugo's going to have to earn his money. He's the senior guy.
Well, there's always Martha. To be fair, Martha.
Go on, sorry.
I was saying when Martha's back from international duty, so not the Exeter game, but from Wimbledon onwards, Martha can play as a striker. So if needs be, you can start a Tete and Martha as your striker, and if Coletta can play left wing back. Wow!
Can you imagine him up against a 6'5" centre half?
Fair enough.
I was just going to mention it's a shame that we haven't mentioned Hugo's volleyed effort at the end, have we? I mean, I actually started to scream yes.
Yeah, I'm going to
was at the wrong angle.
I'm a big critic, isn't I don't think he did much wrong there. It was literally an inch either side. He hit it well, sweet as a nut.
Oh, it was lovely.
Nine times out of 10 they go in.
I'd say not even an inch either side, just a little nick off someone's ankle and it's
I know.
the pace that he hit it at as well. He was so unlucky not to score that one. That was probably our biggest chance of the game.
Agree with you.
But that's one of his strong points, so you will. And that's the kind of player we are missing. That someone who can. What he does it well. He knows he's not going to win an header in box, so he hung back deliberately. He moved his son out of that danger position to hang back on the edge of the box for afters, and that's what he's brilliant at. But I suppose that goes down to, and I'm probably going to side with someone who says a lot on Twitter about the service Hugo gets, and it's not so much service Hugo gets, but it's the service like Ronnie Moore said on radio. Just chuck some box into the box. All can happen. Scraps comes out edge of area. You've got someone like Jordan Hugo on the edge of area who will pick it up and. Majority of the time, he will bang it and like goes in or a little nick, and it's completely changes game. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I've just defended Jordan Hugo.
Yeah.
What time is it? Must be late.
Yeah. Some of the things we were going to Paul one was the early cross into the box, and that's what we're not doing. We're taking too long, ignoring set pieces for a minute. We're taking too long to get the ball in the box. If you put it in early, it puts the defenders on the back foot, and it gives you somebody like Hugo or Hugill, as Andrew says, a chance to attack the ball properly as well. So I'd like to see some early crosses come in a little bit, but that remains to be seen. Thomas Swift, I'm desperate for Hugill to score on Saturday. Yeah, we're all desperate for Hugill to score. And he'll probably score tomorrow night. He'll probably play against Bolton's kids and score in a meaningful game, is what we want to see. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Right, we're going to wrap up in a minute, but make sure you have, first of all, like every watch on YouTube, make sure you give this a thumbs up and subscribe. We're going to 10 more minutes or so while we talk about the Bolton game. But first of all, the big injury news of the last few days, Steve, is Sean Raggett, which is why one of the reasons Tom Holmes has come in. As we said at the start of the show, Sean Raggett's out for 3 months with a quad injury. If you don't laugh, you cry. This guy was almost ever present for Portsmouth for 5 or 6 years. And it just feels like now his Rotherham career is just going to peter. It might not. It might come back, but it just feels like it's just petering out into what will be a handful of games. It
is hard to believe, actually, when you find out that a guy who's been out for most of the last 6 months suddenly he's out again for 3 months. I mean, we all know Mick's opinion of him. I think he's useful, but God, 3 months for a quad. How's he done his quad?
Yeah.
Is it in training? I think so. Otherwise, we would have noticed him coming off the pitch. But again, suddenly he's gone for 3 months. And it doesn't appear that any of the injuries we're getting are short injuries, a week or two. They all seem to be dragging on. And a lot of them seem to be muscular injuries, which is of concern, really. I mean, have we burnt him out too much in pre-season? The lad mentioned, he says, well, it's got to be something to do with the training ground. Well, who knows? But something again has got to change on this, because we're getting too many muscular injuries, particularly hamstrings. But Raggett, I think he may come back. It depends how our team's performing, I think, when he comes back, because 3 months is a long time. We're talking, October? It's December time when he'll be back.
Yeah.
He's not exactly been a success, has he, in terms of appearances? But he's laughable when you consider he never missed a game for God knows how many at Portsmouth. We're just doomed. We ought to get Ian Holloway to come and do what he does in each corner of the ground.
Yeah. Tom Swift, yeah, isn't it what Sean Morrison did? Had one, came, and then did his squad, yeah. You just get and I don't want to put his career down to bed, Danny, but you just get to a stage sometimes where the body just seems to say, "No, you're all right, mate." And again, it just seems to have come from nowhere compared to his previous injury record. And you've had bone bruising and a couple of muscle injuries last year, and then obviously his quad now. It's just a lot.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, like you say, he basically played every game for Portsmouth when he was there, didn't he? Barring a few. And I suppose the bone injury one wasn't really his fault because that was a freak injury because it was like bruising behind his kneecap, which is
same as what Lenny's got.
Yeah, it's such a rare thing to happen, and sod's law, it happens to us twice in the space of 2 years. But I think with his quad injury, again, like you say, it could just be that time where a footballer's body just starts giving up on them and they have to keep dropping down divisions. Or it could be an intensity adjustment. And maybe that's why hamstrings keep going as well, because I'm sure we'll be using the fitness book from Paul Warren where you just hammer them into the ground and get them as fit as possible. And I think because that is so different, certainly with the signings that Steve Evans made, it's such a different intensity level. And if you've been here since before Steve Evans, you've got used to that for a season, and then you've gone full force with whatever Matt Amshaw's doing, the hill runs and the high intensity training sessions and everything. Maybe that's why we're not as quick on the press, because, you know, we physically can't do it yet. We're not adjusted to it yet. Because in the season that Warney took us up in second and we won the cup, we were a fit team.
We started slow, though, if you remember. We started really slow.
Exactly. We started slow, but we were one of the fittest teams in the Football League. And after watching a few games, both on telly and now in person, we look so much fitter than this time last season. It's actually unreal. And maybe just for some of them, the adjustment isn't as quick as others. And that's just naturally being human. People's bodies adjust quicker than others. It does feel a bit like maybe slow down a little bit because we're losing a few to hamstrings here and there's a few big injuries here, there and everywhere as well. But I think there are factors at play that will explain it rather than the training ground or whatever's cursed. But no, I agree. Do a couple of bits of business on each four corners. We might beat a team 6-0. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Are you volunteering?
Yeah, Toddy, if you're watching, just let us in into New York Stadium. Here's 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Problem is, once you start, you can't stop.
Exactly.
You have to do one corner, hang about for 15 minutes, do the next corner. Just give us an hour.
Like I said, there was quite a month fixture, so hopefully kind of things start to fit. The fitness work they've done hopefully now starts to pay off. It's still October when these conversations, there might be something else, but yeah. On to the Bolton game, Kev. Tuesday night, Virtue Trophy. There are rules. Matt Andrew talked about the rules. I think you got 4 players that started the previous game or played in the previous game.
4 players at the start of the game.
I don't know if it's 4 that started or 4 that played.
Okay.
It's certainly at least 4 that played.
Okay.
But we're going to see wholesale changes. You've got McGuckin, maybe Duncan, loads of kids. It'll be wholesale changes, won't it?
Very little interest, if I'm honest. Not bothered. I won't. I can guarantee I won't be watching it on my dodgy Fire Stick. No chance. That's not. You know, I'm not. I'm obviously joking a bit, but it don't interest me. I'm not bothered. No. If we get to the semis, I'll go to that. I'm not bothered about others. But yeah, he's got to make some changes. I didn't know about that rule of 4 players have got to play, but just play anyone. Play for a women's team for me. No interest.
Fair enough. The only interest for me, Steve, is watching some of the kids. I want to see if McGuckin's got something about because he's here now. He's not going out on loan. As one of the Clarks, I think it's James Clark. How can he go against some of Bolton's more senior players? That's the only interest. I'm with Kev until he gets more quarterfinals. I'm not interested, but the interest for me comes from hopefully how these youth players are going to play. Yeah,
I'm kind of at Kev's level of interest, frankly, but I will watch it if I can find it somewhere. But I'd be more interested to see, well, first of all, which one of the 4 that finished on Saturday is going to play.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if I was him, I'd be wondering, you know, every time they take the field, you know, one of them is made of glass and is going to come off after 20 minutes. But I'd like to see some of the young lads. Absolutely, I'd like to see some of the young lads and see how they get on. So you just got to presume if they play similar, then it should be a non-event. But if they put out a strong side, we'll probably get cuffed. But as Kev says, I'm not really that bothered now. We won it 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not bothered now. We should have won it last year as well, but we were rubbish.
Yeah, interesting to keep it at the Campbell place. So it'll be against the interesting how he does. Paul Rhodes says, "Do I get brownie points for going?" Yeah. Brownie points, Paul, for going on that one.
Not sure you're going to submit them to.
Tom Swift as well. Jack Holmes here. He's going to stay. So then we'll see Jack Holmes. So yeah, we'll see. We'll talk about it on Thursday. Like I said, I don't expect there'll be much to talk about from the game because it's basically a glorified friendly. Danny, anything you want to add on it, Danny?
No, we'll just echo wholesale changes. Holmes can. Baptiste.
I think Hugo will play. I think Hugo will start.
Hugo probably. It's like with the cup games when we did previews for those. Make the changes where we can to see how everybody else does and to get those in a competitive environment. But don't overstrain the players that we do have that'll have to play, whether it's injuries or availability or whatever. But before we previewed the EFL Cup games, I said, no, let's have Dawson in those because it's still early in the season until it's the EFL Trophy. And then we bring Ted Cann in. Perfect time to see how he does. And all right, fair enough. It's in a less competitive environment than league matches will be this season. But if he does well, then it creates the headache for Matt Amshaw before the Exeter game. Do you throw him in and see how he does, or do you stick with Cam Dawson? That is a good headache to have, rather than we just have to stick with Dawson. I think I might not be watching it because I think I'll be getting my arse beat at Pool in Roxy's ballroom whilst it's on. But I'll certainly be keeping an eye on it and keeping an eye on what the people say on social media about the game to see how we actually get on. And because it's a competitive Rotherham game, I hope we win, as every fan should do. But at the same time, I'm not that opposed if we don't win or lose on penalties, because the EFL Trophy is weird in the way if you draw it goes to penalties. But we'll see how we get on. It could be just a confidence booster for the Exeter game.
Yeah, as long as
if it is just that,
if anyone does want to watch a game of football live tomorrow, can't be asked, go to Bolton. Durham District versus Donny City tomorrow night. Be a decent non-league game. £3 to go in. Not bad.
That's not bad. There you go, everybody. Get on. Matt, this is just a word for those who are saying not bother about cup games. Look at Donny's fantastic draw in the League Cup. Wouldn't it be great if we could have a League or FA Cup excitement for a change? I am 100% with you on that one, Mike.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen because we are Rotherham United. We don't do cup runs, but I'm 100% with you. Rob Dixon says, how can you get a winning mentality with attitude towards a game like this?
Well, you've got to choose your battles in some respects. When off the team, that's a bit of exaggeration, but when some of the team are injured, you've got to be really careful. And if I was to choose one competition where I'm not really that interested, it would be the one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I want Rotherham to win tomorrow, absolutely, but you've got to be careful and use your resources in the best way possible. We haven't got many resources left. No. Let's not damage them by going for a cup that, in the final analysis, only gets exciting when it's semi-finals and then trip to Wembley.
Yep.
We all concur.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, completely agree. Is there anything else we want to mention, fellas?
No, all good.
Just the mind-boggling amount of money that's been spent today in football. That's a debate for another day. But I've been working from home today, and I've had the telly on in the background, and there's been a breaking news announcement every 2 minutes, and one of them was for Jim White going to the toilet. It's absolutely bizarre. Happy deadline day, everybody. They were saying, "Oh, get lost. This is not America." But,
if we're saying happy deadline day, it needs to be a national bank holiday. I'm just saying.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Well, that'd be nice.
I mean, 125 million for Isaac. And apparently the Gay transfers off, but that would have been another 35 million. 70 million for that Jackson, that Chelsea forward, who I wasn't paying bent wishes.
How was he gone for 70 million?
70 million quid, for God's sake. And then you talk about the news and economics and people not having enough money to live on. Showing me politics now, but you know, it just bamboozled me today.
Yeah.
I think it's the highest spending transfer window in history.
Oh, and everybody, Sky were moist all day about it. It was ridiculous.
I know they were.
I like watching Deadline for drama, but today has been particularly wild. The one that's gone around today is just wild.
God, it's ridiculous, isn't it? And all them poor buggers that have to stand outside a stadium from 7 a.m. through wind, rain, and shine.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my little.
It's crazy to think that one player has moved from Newcastle to Liverpool for probably the same expenditure that would get us probably a 30,000 capacity stadium, and then some to get to the playoffs in the Championship. That's a crazy, crazy thought.
It is, but that's football. Sadly.
Anyway, sorry about that, gents.
Yeah. Anyway,
just had to get it off my chest.
that's what we're here for.
We are the therapy podcast. It's
We
exactly
are
what we're here for.
We're now the home of the unpopular opinions, as somebody replied to us today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Our different nicknames are getting far too long to list off. What is it? Happy Clappers Podcast, The Place of Unpopular Opinions, the Therapy Podcasts.
The 2024 Football Content Award finalists. Do you want to put that one in there, Danny? Can we sneak that one in as well?
Yeah, we'll get that one in as well. And it's going to wear a suit.
Quickly, Bolton predictions. I know we don't care.
2-0
7-0
towards the league table.
7-0 Rotherham. 7-0 Rotherham.
Okay. Positive vibes, like it.
Do they count towards the league table?
No.
4-0. Why not?
So I'm the one who said 2-0 to them. I'm going to come out of this very badly, aren't I?
Well, I think Bolton.
When we win 7-0, I'll be made to look a right fool.
I will, because I haven't put a bet on.
Yeah. I'll go 3-0 Bolton, and then we can all watch Twitter explode. It'd be beautiful. Right. We're going to finish there. Thank you all for watching. There's over across X and YouTube over 700 people watching us tonight live. So if you're watching post,
good Lord.
Thank you all for being with us. Make sure you give it a thumbs up on YouTube because that helps push up the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. First time listener, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. If you're watching on X, where I think most of you are, make sure you follow us and give it a share as well. If you are listening after on iTunes and Spotify, you can subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, whatever you want to do. Make sure you follow us through the socials as well. We will be back on Thursday evening, which will be a quick look at the Bolton game, but then a big look towards the Exeter game on Saturday afternoon as well. Thank you, Kev. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Steve. We will see you next time. Thank you all for watching, and as always, up the Mills.
Ciao.
Up the Mills.
2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots! Ravel. Vicious, but brilliant! The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United. What's got round the back? And Richard Wood has done it!